All right, everyone. Welcome to Master Your Metabolism and Losing Weight Naturally. My name is Suzanne Ingleton, and tonight I am going to give you some really great, simple information and around how to actually get on top of weight and your metabolism, and have a bit of an understanding about the different pieces of the weight loss puzzle, because, as many of you are aware, and that, weight is not just about calories in, calories out. There is so much more to it. And I'm going to go through the different, what we call universal metabolizers. There's 8 of them. And each one of those will form part of your success and in the understanding of it, so that you can look at weight and its loss in a very different light without being frustrated with the same old, eating less, moving more, and nothing's changing for you. Throughout the presentation, I want to be able to impart as much of my knowledge and my passion to you as I can at the end. And I hope, and just letting you know that I will be letting you know about another way that I can help you. So obviously I'm going to give you as much information as I can tonight. Please feel free to take notes. This is being recorded, so you will get a copy of it. But I'm also going to let you know about how you can work with me further, or on a deeper level, or in a group situation if you would like, but no obligations. So let's move into the next slide. So what we're doing tonight is learning how to lose weight naturally and harness the power of your mind, because this is really the missing link. And it's something that I discovered quite a few years ago. And I was just talking to Dee. She's on the beautiful Gold Coast, and I lived there for a number of years. And I had a personal training business. So I used to run around outside all day. It was amazing. In the park, I was literally an outdoor personal trainer. And I had an absolute ball. It was one of the best years of my life. Food was amazing. People amazing. The environment, the weather, everything absolutely amazing. So what I want to do tonight is talk to you about how you can, harness your metabolism and work out ways, rather than starving your body into submission and, seeking to go against the laws of nature, to be able to look at ways differently to nurture and nourish your mind and your body. And what I was leading into as a personal trainer, when I was training people, they'd get fit, they'd lose weight, then they'd go off and do whatever they were going to do afterwards, after the training program had finished. And I found that, they would be coming back to me, and they would be coming back to me and saying, Suzanne, I've put on weight. I don't know what's going on. And to be honest, as a trainer in those days, there wasn't a lot of knowledge or information or training around the mind. And so, we'd train them again, and they'd lose weight again, and off they go. And it wasn't until down the track several years that I really discovered that, when I started learning more about the mind, with energy healing and meditation, and then hypnosis, and then neurolinguistics in the latter years, that it really was about the mind, that the mind is that part of us that really can empower us or disempower us when it comes to weight and its loss. So what to expect from this evening. And if you haven't already got a pen and paper, then feel free to go and grab one, grab something to write with. But as I said, it is all being recorded. But I want to go through the 8 key strategies that will unlock your metabolic power. and find out exactly what metabolism is. We're going to talk about how your thoughts and emotions are just as powerful as what and when you eat. So what you eat and timing of eating is as important as what you're thinking when you're eating, which is not something that is, a lot of people are aware of. We want to be able to supercharge your results using mind power techniques that will boost your metabolism, because the mind is such an incredibly powerful part of us that, as I say, will empower or disempower us. And so it's worth knowing, how we can get our mind to work for us rather than against us. And before I launch into all of that, I guess I should tell you a little bit about me. Who am I? And, what have I been doing? So I've been on a journey with my own journey with weight and body image and food for ever since I was in, late primary school, early high school. As a kid, I had a very poor relationship with my body and food. I was not overweight. I just had very low self-esteem, I think. And I really wanted to, I came from a family of diet culture, and my mum always would say that her aim, she always wanted to have an 18-inch waist. So I think she had a 22-inch waist, when she was young. And I don't know if you've got a tape measure out, but it's something like this. It's ridiculously small. I don't know who would have a waist that small, but my auntie did have an 18-inch waist, and they were very proud of it. I just felt that for whatever reason, my child mind decided that I needed to have that kind of waist to be beautiful or pretty, or to fit in with the in crowd. Because the in crowd at school, they were all waif-like, waif-like girls. And I thought the only way for me to be in the in crowd and to be pretty was to be very, very thin. So in my mind, in order to get to that place of thinness, I starved myself, and literally I just didn't eat. I wouldn't say that I was anorexic, but I was probably pretty close. And it is a way of self-control. If you feel like you have the ultimate control when you can have control over your hunger. But obviously not a healthy space to be. And because I was so hungry, I would then binge eat, because, you can't override the laws, the natural laws of the body, which is to eat food to survive. And because I was so hungry, I ate so little, and I could only sustain that for a short amount of time. And then I would binge eat. And then I would feel disgusted that I even had food in my body, and I would purge. I just needed, in my mind, to just get everything out of my stomach, which, once again, not a healthy way to be. But moving forwards on from there, and I have to say that this went on for about 40 years. And in the latter years, I resorted to laxatives as well. I had a big wake-up call in 2008. And that's when I discovered that I had breast cancer. And all of a sudden, my health had been taken away from me, just like that. And I got it very early, but it just, and I'm fine obviously now, but it put me on a path of self-discovery and focus on my health and wellness. And through all of that, when I was going through my cancer treatment, the oncologist at the time said to me, "Suzanne, the best way for you to survive this was to be fit and healthy. And if you know me, or you've heard of me, I'm a very literal person." So I went, fit and healthy, how can I do that? I'll be a personal trainer. So that's what I did. I started studying and learning because I thought, I that's the only way I knew I could be fit and healthy. But I also wanted to give back. I also wanted to help others not to take their health for granted. And I really wasn't sure how that was going to happen. But as a personal trainer and gym instructor, I started off as a gym rat, gym instructor, and then moved on to training people personally. But what I noticed over those years is that people were prioritizing weight loss over their health, and they were following really unhealthy practices, excessive exercise, minimal food intake, and we know that these weight loss practices are very, very out of date. But it's still sadly widely promoted even to this day by GPs to say, well, they eat less or take this pill or have this injection, which does not teach anyone, it doesn't give them any education or insight into how a human body survives and thrives. And so, moving on, when I started learning about energy healing, I became a Reiki master. And that was as a result of a relationship breakdown. And I felt that my body was in good shape, but my head wasn't. And I needed to find ways to heal my mind. And so that's when I discovered energy healing and Reiki. And from there, I discovered, how incredible meditation was. And that's when really I started delving into the power of the mind, because, just simple meditating can totally change your brain as soon as you start meditating. So, the brain is so changeable that unfortunately we tend to resort to the negative sides of our mind and thought processes, because that's actually quite that's a primal instinct of us as part of our survival mode, to think more about what's happening, how can I look out for danger. And so the mind will always default to negative thoughts. It takes effort, but it's possible, absolutely, to change those thoughts. And so once I learnt how to do that and the benefits of it, I thought, wow, this is where I sort of discovered, gee, this is the missing link when it comes to weight, is the mind, because it does totally drive our behavior. And particularly when we're coming from a very negative space of trying to eat to self-soothe, and there's lots of physiological reasons for that. So from there, I became a hypnotherapist and a master neurolinguistics practitioner. I'm trained as a nutrition coach with Food Matters, and I've obviously been a coach for the last I've been in the health and wellness space for about 15 years now, and in the coaching space for about 5 years. So now I'm really committed to giving back and helping women and men to really become the healthiest versions of themselves, and to show them how to let go of this nasty dieting culture, and understand that they do have a relationship with food that often reflects the relationship that they have with life, and being able to heal that relationship with life begins to heal the relationship with food. Healing the relationship with food begins to heal the relationship with life. And so that's who I am. Just as a bit of a background context, there's me, very fresh-faced, my first day in the field as a personal trainer, and these are just some of the beautiful people that were in my training group. We used to have like competition days and fun games and things. We'd see how many people we could stuff into a letterbox and into a phone box, sorry, and run around with funny hats on and do all sorts of silly, crazy things. But we had lots and lots of fun. you can see there I am as a Reiki Reiki master, just learning Reiki, meditating. Here is one of my amazing coaches, Tony Everard, whom taught me how to be a hypnotherapist and a master NLP practitioner. And my two beautiful kids, Ellie and Phil. Phil lives on the Gold Coast. So if you see a good-looking dude like that running around, that's my son. Say g'day, Phil. And my wonderful partner, Daryl, and our gorgeous GSP, Charlie. And this is our dream. Dee is living our dream in a caravan, and that's what Daryl and I plan to be doing in the next few years, is doing lots and lots of traveling in our caravan. So that is all a little bit about me. Now, and I would like to know, so, I can make sure that I'm giving you all the information that you need, is why are you here and what do you want to know? So if you could, pop something in the chat, just a couple of words to let me know why you're here and what is it that you want to know? What's your burning question? Because I want to make sure that I do answer all of your questions as we go through and in explanation. Make sure we've got everything that we need. I'm just going to check on that on the chat. So if you do have something that you would like specifically would like to know, please pop it in. Yeah. So Sarah, hi Sarah, thanks so much for joining. I know how powerful the mind is. Yes. And I want to know how to utilize it to maintain, lose weight, ultimately improve my relationship with my body. Yes. Wonderful. Yeah. Cholesterol and blood sugar are high and I have a fatty liver. So finding it very hard to lose weight. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Thanks, Elder. And I certainly will be addressing those things as we move forwards. Just here for tips and tricks as I settle into new routines and take better care of myself. Wonderful, Renee. Love that. Love it. All righty, let's dive in, shall we? So sometimes I think, and Sheila, I want to discover where my metabolism has gone. It's gone. Okay. So hopefully we'll be able to discover that tonight, Sheila. So the first thing I want to do is to bust some myths, because there's a lot of myths out there, and I think they can tend to, do more harm than good, and can really lead us in the wrong direction. So myth number one, who thinks that metabolism is just about weight loss and weight gain? This is a common one. Yeah, this is all we know, right? Me, yes. So what I'd like you to know is that it does play a role in weight. However, your metabolism actually is about all the chemical reactions that occur in your body to maintain life. And that includes converting food into energy. It includes building and repairing cells, and it includes waste and elimination. So every organ in our body has its own metabolism. It's not just about food. It's not just about weight. And much like calories, when we talk about calories is not just about food. Calories is a unit of energy, and we can burn a piece of paper and it will produce calories. So calories is the heat that is the energy that's produced when something, when heat is applied to something. So, and of course, energy is applied to food within our body, and that produces calories. aka energy. And without energy, we just don't have energy. We feel tired. So it's interesting to note that calories are just a unit of energy. So myth number 2, slow metabolism always leads to weight gain. Who believes that one? Always leads to weight gain. Yep. Okay. So what it can do, it can make weight loss, yep, pretty much. It can make weight loss challenging, but it's not the only factor. We really need to consider the amount of movement, our genetics, our age, body composition, and physical and emotional environment. So there's a lot of things that that makes up weight gain. It's not just a slow metabolism. And we're going to talk about 8 different areas of, on ways to improve your metabolism. But it's not just that. There's so many other factors. So, and these are just things to be aware of, rather than blaming your poor old metabolism on all your weight loss challenges. The third one is metabolism can only be boosted by eating certain foods and supplements. Who believes that one? It's a common one. So once again, I'm going to say yes and no. There's limited scientific evidence to support that. Emotions play a huge role in how and when our bodies produce chemicals, which contribute to weight gain or weight loss. And this is where your mind plays the biggest role. So what is metabolism? It's not just the sum total of all the chemical reactions in your body in different areas, different parts, your heart metabolism, your liver metabolism, your digestive metabolism. It's also the sum total of all our thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and experiences, because these will also affect the chemical balances in our body, our hormones. It affects cortisol, it affects insulin, it affects dopamine, it affects all the feel-good hormones within us. Our emotions, thoughts, and feelings really do play a huge part when it comes to weight and its loss. It's not just about the calories in, calories out. There are a whole host of chemical reactions and production, which is in our brain. As I said, our brain, pancreas, liver, heart, lungs, gut, every organ in our body has its own metabolism. And they are all very much affected by what is happening in our mind, because that affects the production and the production of the chemicals, and that's where the messages are sent from. Not only from your mind, but more so from your gut. Most of our messages are sent from the gut to the brain, not the brain to the gut. So that's an interesting insight. So let's look at the 8 universal metabolizers. And this is all part of the work of Mark David. And this is his book here, The Slow Down Diet. I'm not sure if you can see that. Yeah, there it is. The Slow Down Diet. So it's not about a diet. It's actually about slowing down. But it covers off on a whole range of new concepts. Well, they're actually old concepts, but concepts that haven't really been put together in this way before, that allows you to make huge inroads and in overcoming the old calories in, calories out method of weight loss. So these are the things that we'll be touching on briefly this evening. Relaxation, how slowing down actually increases and speeds up weight loss. Quality of food, so important when it comes to weight and its loss. Having an awareness of what you're doing rather than being mindless plays a huge role in weight and its loss. Paying attention to the rhythm of life, and eating rhythms, which is eating at specific times of the day, and being mindful of when your metabolism is at its lowest and when it's at its highest, and taking advantages of those rhythms. The metabolic power of pleasure. We as humans, we are designed to seek pleasure to avoid pain. And pain can be, avoidance of hunger. It can be avoidance of negative emotions. And food is pleasurable. And it is actually designed to reduce your stress levels. However, if we are constantly seeking food to self-soothe, it can then become a problem, a habit, mindless, all of those kinds of things. So it's being aware of, that we do need to have pleasure in our life. Because if it's all unhappy, sad, no joy, then you're putting your body in constant stress response. It becomes chronic then, and that stress is the biggest blocker to weight loss. Our thoughts totally affect our metabolism. Our thoughts can totally affect whether or not we burn calories or not. The kind of thoughts that we have, whether we burn them or we hang on to, whether our body processes and assimilates the nourishment, the good nutrition from food, even the same kinds of foods. If you eat them in a sad, depressed state, you'll get a totally different response, in terms of digestion if you eat it in a happy-go-lucky response. The story of us, what we say to ourselves about our lives, about how it's always been, how we were brought up to, eat everything on our plate. And, that is a story. Our history is part of our story, and all the things that we have been taught and learnt, environmentally in our families, the things that we've picked up and decided, the beliefs that we have. These are all part of our story. And depending on, what the story is, it can totally affect where you are now and moving forwards. And we can get quite stuck in our old stuff. And then, of course, there is the sacred. And that's really about, having purpose and passion in life, and, having those rituals that get us through the day and make us feel good and important in our own right. So they are the 8 universal metabolizers, and we'll go through them more now. So relaxation. Consider if you would describe your life as slow or relaxed. Think. Just have a bit of a think. Are you a slow or are you a fast eater? And do you gift yourself the gift of time? Because what I find is that majority of my clients are so busy that they're doing so much for everyone else that they've forgotten about themselves. There's just no time. They're always putting themselves on the bottom of the list. And when we put ourselves at the bottom of the list, we're not caring about ourselves. When our stress levels are high, it slows down and shuts down your digestive system. That's part of the human condition. That's part of survival mode. That's part of being in the fight or flight response. The last thing that your body wants to do when it's being chased by a saber-toothed tiger is to digest your big steak and eggs for lunch. It will literally begin to slow down and shut down your digestive system to send all the energy that's happening in your gut and any spare energy from the midsection of your body into your arms and legs for fighting or running away. So that's just a biological reaction of the body when we are stressed. And you may have experienced something similar when you've been in a rush and you've tried to eat your food and it just doesn't go down. It feels like it sticks here, or it sticks right at the top of your gut, or you get indigestion. Your body's going I don't want to have this food. It's not, I can't deal with it. I need to run away. So, you know, if we're eating really fast, that will put your body into fight or flight. If, you know, you're constantly on the go and just thinking about the next thing and stuffing in the food, then you're not in a relaxed state, obviously, and your body will fight against you to digest that food. So, you know, the stress metabolism is, you know, the connection between the autonomic nervous system, which tells the body to digest food or not. That is when it's automatic. We don't have control over it. The body has this overarching awareness that is always checking in to make sure that we are in a good survival response, like that, you know, that it all it wants to do is preserve and protect the body. So if this overarching part of us, the primal survival system, detects that we're in any kind of danger, when it thinks danger, it doesn't realize that we live in the 21st century and we just all, you know, try and fit so much into our day. It doesn't care. It will just begin to put itself into a state of being that is geared towards survival. So chronic low-level stress decreases calorie burning, which equals weight gain. So if you're constantly stressed, if you're constantly, you know, in a high state of, you may not view it as stress. You may view it as, well, that's how I live my life. I live a high-paced, fast-paced life. And we become very resilient, and that's just the way it is. But it doesn't matter. Your body is still not seeing it that way. It's seeing it as, you know, you're in a high state of stress. So it will decrease the calorie burn. It will put your body into a place of survival mode. And what happens when the body's in survival? It wants to hold on to weight, store fat, and not build muscle, which is weight gain. And because a body that doesn't have any fat in it, you know, and our brain is about 80% or 60 to 80% fat. If all the fat was stripped out from our body, we'd instantly die. Fat is the thing that helps the body to survive, and so that's why we gain weight. And it activates the what they call the sympathetic nervous system, which, you know, if you're eating really fast or your body is in a high state of stress, there's two autonomic nervous systems. There's the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic is relaxation. Sympathetic is high state of stress. So when we're in parasympathetic, the relaxation response, it tells the body to turn on digestion. When we are in the sympathetic nervous system, the state of stress, it tells the body to turn off digestion, which isn't helpful. Some things that, you know, a lot of women go through is just worrying about weight. And of course, that also increases your stress levels, which once again is going to lead to weight gain. So, you know, how can we sort of at a really practical level, without taking a pill or a drug or, you know, stepping off the world, what can you do? You can bring in conscious breathing. Conscious breathing, slowing down, will actually reduce your stress levels pretty much instantly. So when we start to focus on the breath, we can then allow the parasympathetic nervous system to kick in and bring ourselves back into more of a present state of awareness, rather than, you know, fast forwarding our mind into, oh, I've got to do this, and this, and, you know, I've got deadlines, I've got to pick up kids and do dinner and washing and shopping and work and all of those things. That is exhausting. That creates stress. And all of that hasn't even happened yet. You're thinking about what you have to do, but you haven't done it. And it's creating this internal representation of stress. And a point to know is that our mind cannot tell the difference between what is real, what is happening, and what is not happening. And so when in our brain, if we are constantly thinking about the things that we're worried about, we're concerned about, creating this state of anxiety, your brain doesn't know that you're actually not there. It thinks that you are there. And so it will then start to send all the messages, the chemical messages in the body to go, wow, this body's under attack. It's stressed. We need to increase cortisol. We need to increase insulin levels. We need to, start to decrease the digestive flora, the microbiome, our gut flora. It increases cholesterol. It increases nutrient excretion. So there will be nutrients that actually come out of your body instantly when you are in a stress state, and it decreases nutrient absorption. So we absorb less nutrients in our body when we are in a state of stress. It decreases oxygen supply and the ability to burn calories. Calories burn when there is the presence of oxygen. So when, just like a candle needs oxygen to burn, calories need oxygen to burn. And this is why, high intensity interval training is so popular, because we get a high level of oxygen in our body at such an intense, in such an intense way that it does burn more calories. But generally, a body can only sustain that for, 20 to 30 minutes, not even that if it's super, super high intensity. But, there's no point in doing that, once every 3 weeks or once a day for 30 minutes when we breathe every day. We can just breathe. And studies have been shown that taking 10 deep breaths morning, noon, and night will put your body into a state of relaxation, and you will burn more calories. So another thing we don't need to take a pill or a jab or anything like that for is to take time out to relax. It's so, so important to breathe, because it is calories in our body oxygen in our body, which will help to burn calories. It helps to nourish and oxygenate our body. It helps the body to heal. Vitamin O, oxygen, is a very, there's just not enough importance placed on it. So it's really important to get as much air, oxygen, slowing down, because that is our inbuilt onboard antidote to stress. We don't have to do anything else. And this is part of the survival response of the body, that we can slow down our breathing to reduce our stress levels. Because remember, stress equals weight gain. So oxygen intake helps to burn calories. Conscious breathing helps to reduce our stress levels, turn off all the mechanisms for fight and flight. So, before you focus on what you eat, another part of, the weight loss, pieces of the weight loss puzzle, is to teach yourself how to eat. And that is by eating slowly. If a tip for you to take away is, before you eat your meal, take 5 deep breaths. So make sure you're sitting down. You're not trying to eat on the run or stand at the counter or, pick at plates while you're trying to dish up food for kids or pick things up or work at your computer. Make sure that when you eat, just sit there with your bowl, with your plate, and take 5 deep breaths, and just really appreciate this beautiful meal that you have in front of you. Whether you've prepared it yourself or not, just appreciate what you've got there. And then when you eat, so you cut it all up, put the food in your mouth, put your knife and fork down, and I want you to chew it more than 3 times. We do need to chew our food. That's part of the digestive process. And there's this whole thing in the brain that needs to know. It's called the cephalic brain response. it needs to know that you've had a meal. If your brain doesn't recognize that it's eaten, it doesn't remember tasting any food, doesn't remember noticing the textures, the flavors, the aromas, the whole experience of having a meal, your brain will just go, oh, I'm still hungry, no food here, I don't remember eating anything. It will send out hunger signals, and some people will find themselves again knowing that they've had enough food back in front of the cupboard, or picking off other people's plates. Your brain hasn't registered that it's had a meal, so it's so important to slow down. So when you chew your food slowly, swallow it, and then take a big deep breath, so a big gulp of air. Let that oxygen get into your gut to process and assimilate food, get some oxygen into your digestive system, because it will work better. It will work optimally when it is relaxed. Then pick up your knife and fork or your spoon and put it in your mouth, chew, 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 and another deep breath. So I call this breathe, eat, repeat. So you breathe, then you eat, then you breathe, then you eat, then you breathe. What this does, it slows everything down. It allows your digestive system to be in a relaxed state. You will process and assimilate all the good nutrition from that food. And you will actually slow down your speed of eating to such an extent that you'll be able to listen to the wisdom of your gut, and it will tell you when you're full. Instead of just eating everything that's on the plate, allow yourself to determine whether or not you've had enough. More than likely, you won't be able to get through your normal size plate because you're slowing down your whole speed of eating. You're filling your body with oxygen and air, which obviously oxygen adds air, but it's slowing everything down. So you can be awake at the plate and present. So present, being mindful, is so, so important when it comes to our digestive system. It just doesn't really function very well when we're running around trying to do a million things at once. So the next thing I want you to consider, so that was all about relaxation. It plays a huge part in our metabolism and whether or not we are supporting our body to lose weight. As I said, if we're constantly in a stress state, just eating fast will put our body into a stress response. Then we're really inhibiting our efforts to lose weight. The next thing I want you to think about is the quality of food. So, if you were to consider, are you eating fresh foods and limiting the amount of processed foods that you're eating? Are you nourishing your body for energy? Because it's so, so important to think about this. Food is energy and information, and it contains, this is the nuts and bolts. It contains the vitamins, the minerals, the proteins, the fibers, the fats that we need. It's important to know that it's, when we're eating quality food, it is the best nutritional strategy that we can choose. So if there's anything, if you only take one thing away from tonight, is that improve the quality of your food, because it will improve the quality of your mood. The things that you eat, the things that you put in your gut, if it's all low quality, all of that information travels up to your brain. Low quality food, low quality mood. If you eat good quality food, you'll feel more alive, energized, lighter. You won't feel as hungry. You won't feel as hangry. Eating good quality food is the bee's knees. That's really what we need to do to start this process of weight and its loss, because our body gets everything that it needs. It's not going to be looking for more than it needs, because it's all in good quality food. All the fiber, the nutrition, everything that a body needs is in fresh food. So, when we're looking at the quality of our food, we also have to look at, well, how was that food made and manufactured and grown and handled and transported and cooked, served and eaten? all of these things will detract from the quality of it. And of course, we know if we're eating, fast food, well, how long has it been sitting there? How many chemicals is in it that are designed to make it, last on the shelves for, I think there are studies, the McDonald's, for instance, can sit on a shelf for 5 years and not look any different. That's pretty scary. So, processed foods signal that because they don't have the nutritional value in them, they tell the brain that they signal to the brain to want to eat more, because remember, there's this overarching part of us that's trying to look out for our survival. And if it doesn't think that we're getting good quality food, it will keep you looking for more and more and more. But it's smart, but it's not that smart. It can't tell you that, oh, no, don't eat that food. You got to eat this food. It will just go, I'm hungry, give me more food. And so, if you're rushed for time, you haven't, you're not prepared, or you're just grabbing anything that comes along, then more than likely going to make a choice that is unhelpful. And I want to tell you that willpower is not the problem. It's the quality of your food. It's your body driving you to eat just to get the nutrition it needs. So if we're depriving ourselves of food, or restricting food, or just not having good quality food, you can't override, as I've said before, you can't override the laws of nature, which is to eat. And your body is just saying to you, I need food, because I need food to survive. So it's not the willpower, it's the quality of the food that you're eating. So I want you to consider that next time at the end of the day. If you think, oh God, I was just so hungry and I couldn't stop eating this and that, look at your day and go, okay, what did my day look like? Did I have fresh food? Was I rushed? Did I forget to eat? What is my day looking like? How did I get to where I am at this point, this evening or at dinner time? And looking back, and then you can go, oh yeah, I didn't eat enough, or I just had takeaway all day today, or whatever it was. If there was not enough good quality food in there, that's the reason why you're eating, or you're finding that you didn't have the willpower to stop yourself from eating the things that you know that you shouldn't eat, but you just can't help it anyway. It's just your body's natural forces will drive you to do that. So, when we're looking at quality too, that quality living is as important as quality food. So making sure that, the things around you are, in terms of your environment, chemicals that you use in your home, minimize those chemicals. Get cleaners that are as natural as you can. Make sure that your quality of living in terms of movement is good, that you're getting out and about, you're getting some fresh air, that you're looking at all aspects of how you eat, when you eat, what you do with your body, what's in your household, what's in your cupboards, how are you living your life, what are your thoughts like, which we'll cover off shortly. All of these things play a huge part in quality of life, of food. Now, I just want to introduce you to one of my clients, Wayne. Such a lovable, affable guy. He was a truckie. That's his life. His truck was pretty much his home. And he'd been a truckie for, nearly all of I think it's in his family. His father was a truckie. His son was, training up to deliver via trucks all around Australia. And Wayne came to me. He's 6 foot something and weighed in at 182 kilos. He was a very big person. And his doctor actually referred him to me as a last resort before weight loss surgery. And, he actually just wanted to be around to see his kids. He had 2 teenage kids who were very, very active. And he was just could not keep up with them. He could not move his body enough to do what they wanted to do, go out and ride their bikes, go for walks, just go out and kick a footy or a soccer ball. He did not have the energy or the mobility to do anything like that. He was on a weight loss, weight gain cycle, had been on this, he'd lose, he'd gain, and he'd always gain more. He'd lose, he'd gain, and he'd continue to gain more and more and more. He'd been diagnosed as pre-diabetic, and he had already survived one heart attack. He did not expect to survive another one. He was sick of not being normal in terms of buying clothes. He was wearing a 9XL t-shirt, and he just wanted his shirts to fit nicely on his body. He just wanted the buttons to just all button down without, being gappy. Because of his weight, he had he had multiple health conditions. And as I say, his doctor referred to me as a last resort before weight loss surgery. Within 6 weeks, we changed a lot of things in Wayne's life, but one of the biggest changes was his food. Being a truckie, he went to truck stops, and I don't know if you've ever been to a truck stop or seen what they eat at a truck stop, but it's all fried, huge servings. And he would sit in his truck and go to the truck stops, eat 3 or 4 pasties, sausage roll, a schnitzel, grab a couple of cakes, and jump back in his truck, and off he'd go. He'd also eat a huge bag of Minties between Adelaide and Perth and suck on Coke just to stay awake. This was how this was his life daily when he was driving. We changed a whole heap of things in terms of what he was eating, and I did not give him a diet. I made some suggestions, and he did the rest. He lost a total of 15 kilos in 9 weeks. He'd lost 13 in 6 weeks, and he went down to a 5XL. He was, instead of eating a bag of Minties and sucking on cans of Coke on his Perth runs, he made his own hummus and had all his vegetable sticks all cut up, pre-prepared for himself to keep himself, occupied while he was driving, and he was drinking kombucha. And I didn't make those suggestions at all, other than, let him know that, if you really want to make some changes, you have to change what you're doing. If you don't change anything, nothing changes. And so, we talked about a lot of things, and he was all of a sudden supporting his own health and making his own food. He never went to a truck stop ever again, because he knew that they were instant death really for him. That it was leading him on a path where he did not want to go. He honestly thought that the next heart attack, and he was fully expecting one, he wouldn't survive it, and then he wouldn't be around for his kids. Right at the end, and there's a video testimonial on my website if you want to go and have a listen to Wayne. But he wanted to, at the end of it, he was now living his life today rather than putting things off until tomorrow. So every time he got home from a delivery run around Australia, he could just hardly get out the couch, and he would always say, "Yep, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow." Everything was about tomorrow. But by the time we finished, we turned everything around. We let go of all his old negative emotions, the beliefs that he had around weight and food, and what was preventing him from being the person that he wanted to be, to being this guy that he bought fit watches, smart watches for his whole family, and they were all connected in together, and they all knew how many steps that they were doing, and how much movement they had going on each day. And he and his family all of a sudden became very active, and he was walking every day, loving it. All these conditions that he had, medical conditions, started to dissipate. His doctor took him off a lot of the medications that he was on, and he was then no longer pre-diabetic. He wanted to live and be around for his kids, and now he was riding his push bike with them, and running around the parks and going on beach walks, and doing all the things that he wanted to do. His goal is to do a bungee jump with his kids. So and I think I must get in touch with Wayne, because that was coming up this year, I think, at the end of the year. But yeah, that was a big change for Wayne, and that is as a result of the work that we did in the Mind Body Weight Reset program. But a lot of things we changed, big ones, was the quality of his food, and teaching him how to reduce his emotions, which were really setting him up to be in a chronic stress space, particularly with the job that he had, driving on roads, trying to stay awake. It was like, it's just a nightmare listening to what he had to contend with. All right. So I might just take a breath. Any questions coming up? Oh, Sheila, instead of calling this the relaxation, it should be called My Life. Okay. Does that mean your life is in the stress response, Sheila? Yeah. So it's worth taking a breath and looking at your life and going, oh, how am I doing this? How am I doing my life? Rather than let it just roll on, become, the mindless pattern, because this is so often what happens. We don't realize what we are doing. And when we stop and take that breath, when we become aware of what we're doing, then we can begin to make these changes. So this is, awareness is very much a big part of helping to kickstart your metabolism, because if we're not fully present with our food, we're not listening. We're not listening to our gut. We're not looking at the food that we're eating. We're not considering how it's affecting us. Staying awake at the plate. Be mindful instead of mindless. Be aware of what you're doing. Science shows that just the simple act of observing what you're doing will have a direct influence on what we are observing. It's a bit of quantum science there, but you can observe something and it will affect the outcome of it. So when you're observing and being aware of what you're doing, of course, you are going to affect the outcome. So thinking about, well, how can I make a positive change by observing the things that I'm doing that aren't helpful, that aren't supporting me? What can I do now? Of course, you've got to make a change. And once again, according to the laws of physics, just by focusing on something, we can change it. Just by thinking about something, we can change it. And it does. Just by thinking about something starts to change the neural pathways in your brain. It changes the neurology of the brain just by a thought. This is how powerful our mind is. And when we focus on something that we want, we start to change the neural pathways of our mind and our brain. Because 95% of everything that we do every day, we've done the day before and the day before that and the day before that, the year before that, 10 years before that. We keep repeating the same things day in, day out. No wonder habits are ingrained. The habit of getting up, how you get up, how you dress, how you brush your teeth, how you shower, or, how you do your life. This is all habitual. We do it the same thing day in, day out. So this is where we have to have this awareness and go, okay, let's how am I doing this thing that is not helpful? And then going back to the root cause, which is, how I work with clients, is to work out, well, what are they doing? How are they doing it? And let's pull all that apart and do it differently, because that's how we create change. And so, it's also important to be able to set goals or set an intention, because that's part of the change. As soon as you start thinking of that, change is happening. So as part of awareness, our brain and gut are connected by the enteric nervous system, the brain in the belly. In fact, we have 3 brains. We have our head brain, we have our heart brain, and we have our gut brain. And each of these areas has brain cells. So the brain cells we have in our brain, we have the same kind of cells in our heart, we have the same kind of cells in our gut. And, you know, this is how we access our gut wisdom. So we don't say that we've got an elbow feeling or a nose feeling. We say we've got a gut feeling. You know, we say this part of our gut really gives us so much information, but we just don't listen to it. And so when we start to listen to our body, slow everything down, and be aware of, well, how is our gut feeling? What happens when we become nervous or upset or angry? How is that represented in our body? Because it is. And all these negative emotions we will hold in a cellular level in our body. So it will weigh physically, emotionally, psychologically heavy in our body. And this is part of weight gain. We feel emotionally heavy. We feel physically heavy. And these emotions are the things that drive behavior, because emotional eating is about, you know, eating to self-soothe. It's a very natural part of the brain, the body, as part of its survival response, is to put itself into relaxation. But of course, over time, if we keep doing it, we keep repeating the same behaviors, the same things that we've done years, you know, day in, day out, then it's going to cause an issue or a problem. And we just stop listening to what our body is actually telling us. We stop listening to our gut wisdom. And so, you know, just in that, we need to focus on what we want rather than focus on what we don't want. Because when we're focusing on what we want, either way, it changes the chemistry in our body. If we focus on how excited we are about tomorrow's lunch with the girls, for instance, or, you know, we're doing something fun, then we feel lighter and we actually feel good. The chemistry of your body will actually change in anticipation of this thing that you want to do. If we're dreading what's happening the next day, maybe we've got a meeting with our boss, or we have to go and see someone, you know, there's a confrontation or something or other happening. Well, we can feel really heavy and down and dark, and our thoughts go down, our head goes down, the whole chemistry of our body changes. We put ourselves into a stress response. And so focusing, when we're constantly thinking about what we don't want, we're just going to get more of it. So it's really important. This is how we use the power of our mind to focus on what we do want. And so a very simple technique that I teach people is just to say stop. As soon as you've got those unhelpful thoughts running through your mind, say stop. You have the power to change that thought, because you started it. Like, we start these thoughts in our own head. And so we can stop them as well. But if we don't know how, we don't know how. Simply by saying stop, you can then stop that thought. It's called a pattern interrupt. You then need to go, okay, what am I going to think about now? I need to get back into the present moment right here. What do I need to be doing right now? Do I need to be focusing on my work, on my driving, on what my kids are talking to me about, what my partner's talking to me about, rather than, you know, your mind drifting off into the future somewhere, making stuff up. Because, you know, as I say, your brain cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is not. And, you know, whatever you think about here creates your reality. So it's really important to notice notice what's going on in your head. Now, I've got here written, your thoughts may even be fattening. So there is a part of the brain response, cephalic brain digestion, which says, and you may have heard people say, every time I look at a donut, I just get fatter. Just, you know, I can look at this food and I just get fatter. I can think about it and I just put on weight. That, in fact, is actually true. Because thinking about the food begins to activate the cephalic brain response, which tells the brain that, oh, it wants this thing. So therefore, when it's had this thing, insulin is produced to cope with the extra sugar that is going to come in. But you don't have the thing. You just keep thinking about the thing. And so where's the insulin going to go? Nowhere. It's just going to store itself as fat. It hasn't got anything to process, to dissipate, which is what it does. So, you know, when we think about foods that we shouldn't have and constantly think about it, we'll either, you know, for some people, they will go and eat more of that food and have a big binge on it. Or the body is just busily storing fat because it thinks it's going to get it and it doesn't. This is actually a thing. Thoughts can be fattening. Not only do they cause the stress response, they signal the body that, oh, I want this donut. And so the body actually gets ready to have the donut by producing insulin. And insulin is the fat storage hormone. And that's something that we don't want to instigate unnecessarily. So, you know, important to focus on your food, focus on what you want, and have more awareness around what you're doing, because then your appetite will reduce. You'll be listening to your body, and you know, that's all part of improving your metabolism. So if you were to rate yourself in awareness with your food, how would you rate yourself? If you were to give yourself a rating of 1 to 10, 1 not aware and 10 aware, where would you put your awareness if you were to just think about that now? And please pop something into the chat. Let us know. 6. Yeah, but also room for improvement. Great, Sarah. Awesome. That's really good. Good. Who else would like to let us know where's your awareness level? And, you know, it's not always going to be in the top end either. I mean, I still have times when I'm, you know, wolfing down my food and go, oh, wait a minute, stop. And it's a practice. It definitely is a practice. But when you're aware of something, you can then begin to change it. So, yeah, I would just encourage you the next time you have something to eat, be aware and slow down. A 6, great, fantastic. So a 6 being, yeah, not where you want to be. Is that what you, wait a minute, what did I just say that wrong? 4, I'm always on Facebook. Oh, elder. That's common, isn't it? Yeah, good. All right, let's move on. So rhythm. Rhythm is all about aligning our life with circadian rhythm, and it can boost your metabolism. So the best time of day to burn calories is actually at lunchtime, the middle of the day, because our body is at its highest in terms of temperature and internal energy. And this is when our body's internal temperature is at its highest, we'll burn more calories. So typically people will eat their biggest meal at night and their smallest meal, if anything, at lunch. Maybe not grab a quick breakfast. So, you know, when we're talking about rhythm and timing of food, a lot of people will have the bulk of their food at the end of the day. And this is the worst time of the day to eat the most of your food, because our metabolism is slowing down. At the end of the day, it's slowing down to get ready to prepare for rest and you know, resetting the systems of the body of an evening. So instead of having your biggest meal at night, I would encourage you to have your biggest meal, but not a huge meal, but your biggest meal at lunchtime. So if you were to swap it around what you normally eat, just by having a smaller meal at night, and swapping, having a bigger meal at lunchtime, you're going to really support your digestive system, support your metabolism, so that you are burning more calories, you are taking up more nutritional energy at that time of day when your digestive system is really firing up, rather than at the end of the day. And when we undereat, if we're not eating enough during the day, it slows down your metabolism. So if you're saving up all your food for the end of the day and coming home and having a great big meal because you're starving, so not only have you slowed down your whole metabolism, because this overarching part of us, if it thinks that it's not getting enough food, it will slow everything down. Once again, it's a survival mechanism. It's part of the puzzle. It's not all black and white, but it's one of the pieces of the puzzle of weight and its loss, that if you don't eat enough, your metabolism slows down. And then if we eat a lot at night, your metabolism is slowed right down anyway. So we're not doing ourselves any favors by not eating during the day and just saving it up at night. Even irregular eating disrupts your metabolic rhythm. So once again, body doesn't know when it's going to get its next meal, so it hangs on to more fat just in case it's not going to get another meal. So it goes into, I'm living on a desert island, I'm in starvation mode, so therefore I don't know when I'm going to get food, so therefore I'm going to hold on to more weight. So that is another reason when our metabolism is not working properly, broken. It isn't broken, it's just in survival. It's doing what it does in order for to support the human system. Too many refined carbs can trick the brain into storing fat. So processed food, it hasn't got any real substance to it. So once again, your body's not getting what it needs. So it will store fat as a survival thing. Plus, there's way too much sugar in processed food. We produce too much insulin. When we produce too much insulin, it tells the body to store fat. So it's, that's not a good scenario either. So a way to get around all of that is to really balance your macronutrients. And what are they? They are the biggest nutrients in our food group. So it's proteins, what we call healthy carbs, which is vegetables and some fruits, as opposed to processed carbs, and healthy fats, which are things like avocado, olive oil, nuts, seeds, fatty fish, olives. These are the three main components that need to be in every meal: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Protein and healthy fat will keep you fuller longer. So you're less likely to be looking for the sweet, highly processed, carby type snacks, which really just have more sugar in them than you need. And the more sugar you have, the more you want. It's simple as that. Even eating a piece of bread, if you're a toast and Vegemite girl, or toast and jam or something, that's what you have, toast in the morning for breakfast. Your body processes those carbohydrates as sugar, and there's about 5 teaspoons of sugar per slice of bread. So if you're having bread for, toast for breakfast, a couple of pieces of toast for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, maybe some, a roll or dinner, then you're just having way too much sugar, and your body's producing way too much insulin. So when we eat fresh food, then that is when our body does what it needs to do, and it supports us, particularly when our goal is to lose weight. Now, pleasure. It's so important to eat what you love, and that your body loves what you eat. So, when we have a sense of pleasure during and after a meal, we feel satiated, we feel good. When our eating experiences are enjoyable, we put ourselves into a relaxation response. We need to make the time for ourselves to put a smile on our dial. If we're we can be, when we're turned on by food, when food excites us and it's pleasurable, it makes us feel good, it's good quality food, and we don't feel guilty after we've eaten it, then it turns on your metabolism. This is another part of our the metabolic power of our body. Pleasure. We seek pleasure to avoid pain. Pain is stress. Stress creates a weight gain. Pleasure is relaxation. Pleasure helps our digestive system do what it should be doing and process and digest food and burn and assimilate calories. So it's really important to enjoy your food. If you're eating food and then you feel guilty after it, it's just going to put your body into stress. Once again, producing cortisol, insulin, not good when it comes to weight and its loss. And when we're highly stressed, something that we felt that we might have thought was really tasty or pleasurable when we were relaxed, however many years ago that was, or weeks or days, it desensitizes the enjoyment of food. So even if we really enjoyed it a while ago, if we're eating it in a stressed state, you're not going to get the same sense of enjoyment out of it, because it produces more cortisol because we're stressed, and so we don't notice how nice food feels. However, this plays out again if we feel like, oh, I'll feel better if I have chocolate. But the more stressed you are, the more chocolate you eat, is because it's not giving you the hit that it used to. You feel like you need more and more and more to feel better and better and better. It's a bit like a drug addict. They start with a small amount of whatever it is, but then that's not enough next time. The time after that, they need more and more and more to get the same kind of hit. So same with pleasurable foods. If you're eating them to feel better, chances are you're not getting the same amount of pleasure because of your state of stress. And it's part of being a human being to enjoy sweet foods anyway, so we can't fight it. So if you are going to eat, chocolate or something yummy, make sure it's the best quality food. Make sure it's the most organic food. If you can get organic chocolate, or whatever food that you eat, what's in it. It's less processed. It's made with love. You enjoy the food, and your body will take the nutritional value from it as much as it can, as much as it needs. Once we can't fight that part of us that wants sweet food, because in the middle of our tongue is the sweet taste buds. They're right there. They're supposed to be there for us to enjoy food. So it's important to, when you eat sweet food, know that if you choose to eat it with love. Don't eat it with guilt, because you'll undermine any good work that you've done around helping and supporting your body to lose weight. Another interesting aspect to look at around pleasure and food and your metabolism is that our experience of food can often mirror our experience of life, and our experience of life can mirror our experience that we have with food. So by that I mean, life might have been very traumatic for you, and you've chosen to eat foods to self-soothe, to comfort eat. So therefore, food is your relationship with food is not good, because you might be blaming food for the weight. You're not feeling good about food is your enemy. You have to eat it, but you don't want to eat it. All of those kinds of things. And then that affects your relationship with life, because you're not feeling good about yourself. People start to self-isolate or self-sabotage, or whatever is happening. The two are very much intertwined. So it's important, if you've got a fast-paced life, you're eating food really fast, or you're eating lots of fast food. Once again, there is very much a mirror around food and your life. So it's important to honor your body and your mind and enjoy food, and have the intention of choosing food that is going to support you, because at the end of the day, when you're eating good quality food, it's going to start to weed out, so to speak, all those unhelpful, or many of those unhelpful eating behaviors of eating too much sugar or too much fried or processed foods. You just won't want them because your body's getting what it needs. Yeah, Epicurus. I don't know, Dee, if you happen to go to Brisbane to the Epicurean Gardens. It's beautiful gardens in the on the Brisbane River there. But it's important. A quote from Epicurus is, "It is impossible to live pleasurably without living wisely, well, and justly. And it's impossible to live wisely, well, and justly without living pleasurably." So it's really about balance. It's recognizing that, it's okay to enjoy food. It's okay to enjoy life, all in balance. Because when we're depriving or denying ourselves of things, it's not going to put us in a very good mood. It's not good for our state of mind. And we're missing out on, what is our human right, which is to enjoy our life. And so this is where we come to thought, another very powerful aspect of the brain, and how you can utilize it to help your weight loss efforts. What we think about directly affects the physiology of your body. And we've been talking about this all along, your stress response. As soon as you think unkind thoughts, as soon as you think, oh my God, what am I going to do? And catastrophizing, or constant worry, or replaying an unhelpful conversation that's happened in the past, or some sort of scenario, all these thoughts are totally affecting how the chemistry of your body. It's instant. And this is why, we have to be the guardian of our own thoughts. We really have to manage and be aware of what your mind is saying and doing to your body, because what happens up here totally affects the biochemistry of your body. Negative thoughts directly inhibit digestion. So this is why it's important to sit when you're eating. Eat, just be awake at the plate, not in front of the computer, not in front of the TV, not running on the go, eating on the go, thinking about the next thing. Just be present with your food, and notice the taste, the texture, the flavor, the aroma, everything about your meal, and take the time to have something nice to eat, because, it's nice to do. It's part of the pleasure response. It's what we think about, we bring about. If we're constantly thinking negative thoughts, then we're going to bring on more negative things in our mind, in our life, in our body, creates dis-ease, creates disease. And so, working on finding more balanced thought processes, more positive thought processes, is really going to help you to feel more motivated to continue in what you know that you need to be doing. Now, the placebo effect is proof that our thoughts change how our body functions. So, just thinking about something can make a change. We don't even actually have to do something like, thinking about, for instance, thinking about an unhelpful conversation or a past event that made you cry, can bring tears to your tears again, just by thinking about it. And no one's in front of you doing anything, or you're not talking to anyone. It's just the thought. So in effect, that's placebo. It's happening without it actually happening, created by what is going on in your mind. So it's really, really important and a really powerful tool to make sure that you're looking at how you're thinking and what you're thinking. Yeah. And looking at motivation, the root cause of it, if your motivation is coming from a negative space, then the results will be harder to achieve. So if you're constantly thinking that you need to do something because you don't like this, and you're constantly thinking about what you don't like, that is going to make it harder for you to get to where you want to be. When we're thinking about what we want, makes us feel good. It's much easier, makes us feel lighter. For instance, if our what's important to us is feeling healthy, and it's important to us because we want to feel good, well, then that's a feel good. We feel like we want to, it's easier to achieve because it makes us feel good. But if we think the same thing, we want to feel healthy because we don't want to be sick, and we're constantly thinking about, I don't want to be sick, then that's a negative, clearly. And if you're constantly thinking about the negative, it's not a place where you want to be. In fact, it's creating more stress. It's going to bring more of that to you. So it's important to go, stop. If I want to feel healthy, I want to do it because I want to feel good. What do I want rather than what I don't want? So always thinking about what you want. Thought, so powerful. I just want to talk to you a little bit about a client of mine, Raylene, who was constantly stressed, tired, and triggered by kids. Raylene was in her late 60s, early 70s. She came about that she became the carer for her two young grandkids. I think they were 4 and 6, like little ones. And she was totally out of the loop, had no energy. Bringing up little kids in her late 60s was really challenging for her. And so she would turn to sugar in such a way that she would actually eat sugar straight out of the bowl for energy to self-soothe, because it made her feel good. But because she was so stressed, she needed more and more and more sugar. So it got to the point where she'd just eat it out the bowl. She'd have sugar in her tea, and she'd eat sugar out of the bowl, and she'd drink many cups of tea. So, yeah, Sheila, absolutely. I want to lose weight to be health rather than I want to lose weight because I don't like myself. Yeah, it's so important. That's part of the thought process. Think about it from a health perspective, because to be healthier rather than lose weight when you're not losing weight, that's coming from a negative space. I know that that's the outcome that you want, but if it's not happening, or it's too slow, or you're constantly thinking about what you shouldn't do, it just becomes a bit of a battle. But when you think about, well, how can I support my health? Okay, let's start there. I can do this. I can eat good food. I can go and move. I can think kind thoughts. Just those 3 things: good food, kind thoughts, and move. Just focus on those things. They are going to help you get to where you want to be, rather than go, oh, what am I going to do to lose weight today? This thing doesn't work, and I've tried that, and I've tried this, and it just gets into a bit of a nasty space. So good. Yeah, I love that. And so back to Raylene, she would be eating sugar out of the bowl just for energy. Her weight ballooned, as you could imagine. She had huge feelings of overwhelm. One of the kids had special needs, and she was constantly at doctors and taking one of them here, there, and everywhere. And of course, the other one was feeling a bit neglected and acting up. And she was just at her wit's end. She just did not know how to deal with these kids, and they triggered her. And their behavior was all over the place. And she just was really at her wit's end. So and she felt tired. She was constantly tired because of all the sugar. She had a foggy mind. She really, she wasn't coping with everything. She had no motivation. She was self-isolating because it was too hard to go anywhere or do anything. So what we did, we worked on improving her nutrition, the quality of her food. We worked on arranging time for herself. So, getting in some help so that she could just be herself, so she could have time out. We definitely worked on her self-talk, because there was so much negativity and so much negative self-talk, unkind thoughts, and self-sabotaging, that it was really putting her into an unhelpful mind space. Within 6 weeks, she dropped a full dress size. She was so happy. Her relationship with the kids was calmer. So because she was calmer, they were calmer. And she was eating good food, and she was giving them good food too. So, when we're talking about nutrition, it's not just about your own nutrition, it's about the nutrition of the household, and kids are just as important, from giving them good nutrition as it is for you trying to pick up the pieces for weight loss, from changing from a certain way of eating to another way of eating. It's just really important all round. So great success story with Raylene. Now, just checking in with the questions. Elder, do I believe in fasting? Yeah, fasting is great. And there's so many different ways to fast. However, I really do believe it depends on what mindset you're coming from when you're thinking about fasting. There's a lot of scientific evidence to say it's very, very beneficial, but it's not for everyone. And if you try it, and it works for you, that's great. Is it sustainable? Don't know. For some it is, for some it isn't. And if you're fasting because you want to eat less, you don't want to eat, because you think that eating less will allow you to lose weight, I would question the thought process around that. Fasting is very much around helping to give your digestive system a rest. It's a very good therapeutic tool in terms of health, and one of the benefits can be to lose weight. However, if you're doing it purely, solely, and wholly to lose weight, and you're reducing the number of calories or food intake for that sole purpose, I would just ask you to check in with yourself. Is that really supporting you from the emotional perspective, from a physical perspective? Is it really supporting you in your life? It may get you a quick result, but is it sustainable? Can you continue doing that? Is it socially friendly? Because sometimes that doesn't work either. There's so many different types of fasting. Just simply by going to bed at 8 o'clock, not eating anything until you wake up in the morning at 8 o'clock, there's a 12-hour fast. That's a fast. There's 16-hour fasts, there's 18-hour fasts, there's all sorts of different windows of fasting. If you were to just do a 12-hour fast and not eat anything after 8 o'clock, great. If you then want to fast, like push your breakfast out later and later till 9 o'clock, make it 13 hours till 10 o'clock, 14 hours. If you can do that and eat within the window, but not overeat, not eat more calories than you need, particularly when your metabolism is slowing down at night, that it will work. It's very much, I would say it's very much an experiment, and I would ask you to be the curious scientist of your own body. Try it out and see if it works for you. If you find, though, that you're eating way too much of a nighttime when your metabolism now, is at its lowest point, then perhaps that's not the best way, or perhaps you need to, adjust more. And I don't know what that might look like for you, but that's really what I'd like to say about fasting. I'm not against it. But I think if you're doing it solely to lose weight, I think there's some other factors you need to consider. So I hope that makes sense. And that, that can be part of the story too, the story that you have around what is going on for you. And you know, is food your enemy? Has it always been your enemy? Is that part of your story? Because when we rewrite our story, it can change our life. You know, when we say, oh no, I've always been told to eat everything on my plate, so I do, and I can't change that. Well, no, you can change that. That's part of changing your story. And it holds, you know, important keys to unlocking the power of your metabolism, about your beliefs. If you believe that you can't do things, you have a belief that, you know, you've always been this way and your family's always been this way and it's part of your genetics, then that is going to block you. That is going to hold you back. It's going to create underlying stress that, why is everyone else losing weight and I'm not? That's because I'm like this. This is, I am a certain type of person. And that's part of the story that you hold. So changing those stories can absolutely help you to live a different life, to think a different way in order for you to live a different life. It's really important to experience the benefits that you want when you lose weight. So a lot of people say, I'll be happy when I lose weight, I'll feel better, I'll feel lighter, I will feel confident, I will feel more in control. These are all feelings, not attributed, you know, it's not a thing that you can do, it's something that you think. So we can change our feelings simply by thinking, changing the thought. So if you want to be happier when you lose weight, focus on being happier now and look at ways to go, okay, well, how can I be happy? What can I do? Can I, you know, put more self-care into my day? Can I talk kinder to myself? Can I go out and socialize more? Can I make sure that I eat something that I really enjoy during the week? Whatever that is, do it now. Because in order for you to be the body and the shape and, you know, the person that you want to be in the future, you have to do that now. It just doesn't magically happen. We can't go from here to here without doing anything. So waiting to live your life when you have lost weight, you're just missing out on so much. We have to practice doing these things right now in order to get to where we want to be. So that's so important. So do the things that you want to do them now, and work towards doing them now, and working out, well, how can I get to that? What steps can I take to get to that by starting now? Part of our story is all the different personalities that are in our head. Who's sitting at your table? Who is at the inner part of your table? And what I mean by this is the different archetypes that we have. We have so many different personalities and different hats that we wear every day. We have our mum hat, we have our wife hat, we have our daughter hat, our sister hat, our, you know, girlfriend hat, whatever, teacher hat. We act differently in different situations, and we have a different personality in those situations. And along with that, when it comes to eating, our eating personalities, and you may identify with some of them, some of these archetypes, and I've put up a couple here. You may identify with the child within you, the child that says, I want what I want and I don't care, I'm just going to eat it. The child that says, oh, you know, when I was at Nana's, I used to have I don't know, bowl of popcorn, or she used to make yummy scrolls and that would make me feel better. That's the child in you wanting those things, wanting perhaps that extra comfort, or just going, I don't care, I want it now. And this part of us, if we're not really aware, can begin to control those urges, like, I don't care, I'm just going to go and get my ice cream, I'm going to get that chocolate, I don't care what happens after that. A child doesn't care about the consequences of what you're doing, what it's doing, it just wants it right now. So sometimes it is valuable to be aware of, well, who is this person sitting at my table or in my head at the moment? Another archetype that I regularly see, and you may identify with, is being the hungry wolf, which is basically you just haven't eaten enough all day, and you get home and you just, start rampaging the cupboards and getting hangry at the same time, or overly hungry and just can't stop, and you end up overeating. So that is as direct result of not eating enough during the day. It's your body saying, oh my God, I need to eat. And so being the hungry wolf is a personality and archetype that will do anything it can to just eat. So it's just an interesting way of thinking, well, wow, we've got all these different parts of us. We have the rebel within us who says, well, I don't care what you say, I'm just going to do this anyway because I'm sick of doing all the other stuff. And it could be that the teen or the rebel is the part of us that says, I don't care, I'm just going to break the rules. I don't care what they are, but I've just had enough of doing what I'm doing. And perhaps there's not enough variety. Perhaps, the way to manage that is that it needs to not be bored and look at other ways to stimulate life, stimulate diet, shake things up, do things differently, because we need to look after these parts of ourselves. We need to look after the child and have some fun sometimes with food. We need to look after the wolf and make sure it doesn't get too hungry during the day. We need to look after the teen or the rebel to make sure we get some variety. And then there's this other one down here, which is the saboteur. And I know, a lot of people will relate to, well, I just self-sabotage all the time. And, this could be part of us that is the criminal mind at work. It's the part that just, for whatever reason, who knows, doesn't matter what we do, we're good. And then, oh, bugger it, I'm just going to work against you now. I'm not going to be good anymore. Sometimes we just have these parts of us that take away what we actually really want. And it's had enough of going on a diet. It doesn't want to go on a diet. It doesn't want to exercise. It doesn't want to do anything. It just stops. And so, we might be on a diet. We might be doing all the right things one day, and then all of a sudden, bzz, that's it. We don't want to do that anymore. So this part of us is really a part that needs listening to. It needs understanding. It needs kindness. It needs a sense of forgiveness around, okay, I'm a human being. Yes, sometimes things just don't go my way. And all right, yes, I've done this. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I'm just going to get back up and do what I know is going to work for me. And I'm going to keep practicing these things until it becomes a way of life. And then, this is what I do every day. Sometimes when we're starting something new, we're not seeing any results. We just go back to the old, the old habits because, oh, well, nothing, it's not working. So why should I put myself through all this pain and not see a result? But I think at this point, it's saying to yourself, okay, it's a process and things take time. And sometimes we put unrealistic expectations on ourselves that we just need to be patient, be more patient. We live in a very fast-paced world that, we want everything straight away. But wait is something that just doesn't happen straight away in order for it to last, to be, sustainable. It's the journey. The journey informs the destination. And so we really just need to listen and notice and be aware and, really begin to have an understanding of how we can move forwards and support ourselves. And there are many more different archetypes, but these are things that you may be familiar with, you may have encountered. But, you can sort of say, okay, who's sitting at my table today? Who is this that's just come up and, it's causing all this havoc in my awareness right now? And what can you do? Well, you can invite the king or the queen to your table, because the king or the queen is the part of us that sits on the throne and says, I'm in charge. I'm the author of my life. I handle this kingdom and I know how it works, and here's how it's going to be. It's about, reparenting and being the adult and saying to the child, no, we're not going to do this anymore. We're going to stop this behavior right now, and we're going to do something else, because you wouldn't give a child the rule of the house. Even though they want to eat ice cream and chocolate all the time, they would eventually get sick, and that's not a good cleanup for an adult. So sometimes we just have to step up and go, okay, yep, no, enough of that now, stop. Let's do what is going to be supportive of us here. So that you know that there is a part of you that can override all of these behaviors. It's just you step up. You can be the queen, or you could be the wise woman. If the queen isn't something that you identify with, bring out your wise woman and just go, okay, yep, had enough now. And that can be a really good strategy when you're dealing with all sorts of behaviors that you're not that aren't supportive of where you want to be. Does anyone identify with any of those? Anyone identify with any of those archetypes, or any personalities or eating types or things that they notice? No. Something to think about. Oh, combination. Yeah. Definitely a combination. And there could be more. But I suppose, if you would take away from this evening, just be aware of, who is this sitting at my table now? Who is this calling the shots? And perhaps I need to rein it in, because you can. That's really important to know. All of them at different times. Yes. Yeah. It's interesting, and it is an awareness. And it helps you moving forwards to get past these things rather than let them control you. Now, this is, I just want you to meet Caroline. Caroline she's the client that I'm still working with in one of my group programs, and she gained a lot of weight, 24 kilos. She had been diagnosed with cancer and going through all sorts of cancer treatment. She was feeling pretty desperate and out of control around food and health. She had a lot on her plate, literally. She was struggling with huge amounts of anxiety and depression. They were her constant companions. We worked together privately and within a group over 12 months, and she lost 15 kilos working both privately with me and as part of the group. Now, this is Caroline just after we finished our private work, and she'd already lost 7 or 8 kilos there. This was a picture of Caroline taken a few weeks ago. Look at the difference. She's just so many changes in her. She's no longer anxious. It was constant battle in her life. She was on a whole range of medications that she worked with her doctor to reduce and let go of. Simply because we worked a lot on her emotions, we worked a lot on her self-sabotaging. She was very brave. She had a lot of challenges. I think to date she's lost, so when this was done a couple of months ago, and she was down 15, I think she's down 20, 25 now. So and she's still, she's plateauing, and she loses plateaus, and it's a process. But she's consistently been working on improving her health, her state of mind, her physical health. She's a huge support to the women in our group, and she's her mindset and her health metrics totally transformed, as I said, to the point where a doctor agreed to reduce and remove some of her medications, and she's still working towards getting off of more of the things that she was on. Sugar is no longer her friend. Sugar and the lolly aisle were a constant battle to her, and as she said, it used to jump into her shopping trolley all the time. But now she doesn't even go there. She doesn't even walk past she walks straight past the lolly aisle now. And she's feeling calmer, mindful. She walks more. In fact, she's going to join us in the Bloody Long Walk in our training, which is great. She's feeling positive. Her blood pressure's improved. Her depression has reduced. Her medication for depression has reduced. And she's no longer sabotaging. So, Caroline has had huge benefit from the work that we've done with the Mind Body Weight Reset program and the group program, which I want to tell you a little bit more about this evening. So how do I do all this with my clients? We work a lot with hypnosis. We work a lot with neurolinguistics, and there's elements of hypnosis in the neurolinguistics and the mind stuff that we do. And hypnosis can be a little bit of people aren't really sure about it. They sort of think, oh, well, it won't work for them. But I want to let you know that hypnosis is very safe. It's very natural. It's very effective. And we work with weight and its loss in a very unique way, which goes beyond, conventional methods of calories in, calories out. I never give my clients a diet plan. There are recipes in our program, but essentially I'm giving them an education and teaching them how they can change what's going on in their life, in their lifestyle, because everybody is different, and not one thing will work for another person. All our bodies are different. All our environments are different. We don't take a band-aid approach. We get to the root cause of what is driving people to eat in ways that are unhelpful. And so we use a mix of eating psychology, neuroscience, and hypnosis to, uncover the deep structure of exactly how people are doing their problems and changing the programs in their minds. Those programs that you keep repeating day in, day out, the 95% of what we do, what we did today, we did yesterday and the day before. And that is just creating a program in your head. And so using hypnosis and neurolinguistics through repetition, we get to change those things so you can start to think differently. And so I wanted to sort of tell you a little bit about, what hypnosis is and what it's not. As I said, it's very natural. It's relaxing, which is a really important part of the work that we do, because when our body's in a relaxed state, it will process and digest food. It will do what it's supposed to do naturally when it's relaxed. Hypnosis is a state of focus. It's very therapeutic. It's enjoyable, and it's voluntary. I can't make anyone do anything that they don't want to do under hypnosis. Hypnosis is not mind control. It's not supernatural. It's not a miracle cure. I can't force you to do anything that you don't want to do. It's not being in an unconscious state, and it's not being asleep. Hypnosis is very much like meditation. It's being focused and aware. Now, one of my clients, Lily, who we did virtual gastric banding, so I do a number of programs. She sent this. I worked with Lily in, oh goodness, when was that? Beginning of the year, I think. So she came to me looking for help with, she just wanted to, not eat as much as she was eating. She was an overeater. She sent me this pic about a month ago. She gave me permission to use it. And I don't ever request before and after photos, but she said she just sent it to me. She said, look at me now. She said it was okay for me to use these pictures. But she came to me with feelings of constant hunger. She was just constantly hungry. She was always overeating. In fact, she was gorging herself to the point of being so full she would be sick. She just could not stop eating. She'd struggled her entire life since she was 8 years old, and she felt like she looked gross. It was impacting her relationship with her partner, and she just hated her body. So we used a combination of hypnosis, eating psychology, and the principles of mind-body nutrition. She's now, as you can see, 15 kilos down, lighter, no longer feeling hungry, and confident enough to take photos and send them to me. Hypnosis made a huge difference to her and her life. And I just thought I'd share that with you. She'd sent that to me not long ago. So is it okay with you guys if I share with you one of the programs that I'm running at the moment? That, it's one of the programs that Caroline went through to help her lose her weight and sustain it. That may be something that could help you too in the future. Is that okay with everyone? Okay. So the thing that I've just launched is the Eat, Thrive, Love program. And essentially we'd be working, it's an 8-week journey to lose weight, gain energy, and love your body. It's an online group program. So the one that I'm running at the moment is face-to-face, and we ran it over 8 months. This time I'm doing it over 8 weeks over Zoom. So it's once a week on a Wednesday night. It's within no more than 15 people. And I'm already 50% sold from that group. So we're going to be working with a group of like-minded women who just want to lose weight and, gain energy, and be kind to themselves and their body. And if you're feeling like you're being overwhelmed with stress or anxiety, or maintaining a healthy work-life balance, or you feel like you're emotional or binge eating, and trying to break free from unhealthy habits, having a low mood, constant lack of energy and weight gain, or you've got no motivation or willpower, this is a program that that is part of the Slow Down Diet, this book. It's not a diet, it's just it's about slowing down, going through each of those in detail. Universal metabolizers. It comes with a workbook, and all of this will be posted out to you. So each week you'll have some tasking, some reflection, journaling exercises to do. Plus you get this book to keep and read, which gives you a whole new insight. And yes, there are practical tools, and each session will be, you'll be given hypnosis. So I'll be taking you through hypnosis. And you'll be getting the recordings, plus a whole heap of other resources and materials that you get to keep for life, which merges all the best bits of the mind-body nutrition program, which is my main private coaching program, minus the timeline therapy. So that's something that we need to do privately, working one-on-one together. But all the other things are there. And I've put it together as an affordable way to work with me. So the price is a lot less than you would expect with my Mind Body Weight Reset program. So it just makes it more affordable, more intimate, and it's designed to rebalance your metabolism, to give you easy and simple strategies on how to lose weight. We go much more in depth as to what we've talked about this evening, how to empower your gut, listen, how to end emotional eating and quit your cravings. And there's so much more in this program. So a little bit about the program and what it's worth, because investing in your health and well-being is priceless. I know people have said, I've spent thousands and hundreds and, all sorts of money on things and they've never worked. But I don't know, ask yourself, have you really tackled it from the mind, from the perspective of the mind, and getting to the root cause of what is going on? So in this program, it includes 8 weekly Zoom coaching sessions. So we get together like this. It'll be very interactive. There'll be hypnosis in every session. You get a month's worth of recipes to use if you want. They're not mandatory or they're not going to be the be all and end all that you have to follow this recipe to get a result. They're just value adding to the program, really. You get tracking sheets, you get the printed workbook, as I mentioned. There'll be downloadable PDF learning guides, the slowdown book. Get one of these, I'll post that out. Plus you get community support and accountability. So, when you add all of that up, or, my time, etc., the cost of the program is worth over $4,000. Sorry, that is my time. That is the value of it. However, for this program starting in September, it's an introductory price of $490. So $4,000 off, basically. And we can put that on a payment plan too. So over 3 months, we can do a payment plan of $200 a month. It's a little bit dearer, but it can be more affordable that way. So that's the program that I've got running at the moment. We start in September, and I'm 50% sold in that program. So if you'd like to know more, or just jump on a call with me and have a chat, I'm more than happy to chat with you. But tonight, if you haven't already got one of these, here's a free download for a weight loss hypnosis audio, and all you need to do is put your phone put the camera up against it, and that will take you to a website, and you can then download a hypnosis audio with instructions on how to get the most out of it, because hypnosis is focused awareness. You can't expect a change if you're not prepared to invest in changing how you do your life. You've got to change the habit of who you are now in order to be the person that you want to be. So when you are listening to hypnosis audios, you must be fully invested. You must find a quiet space. You must really focus on what you're listening to, not thinking about, I wish this would hurry up and finish, and then I can get up and I can get ready. And I don't want you to be forward thinking. I want you to be in the moment, listening to my voice, listening to my words, and really feeling the things, like feeling how good it would be to eat fresh, healthy, nourishing food, and moving your body in ways that you love. And, just focusing on how you want to feel, how you want to think, feel it in your body. Change happens when the mind and the feelings go together. Just by changing your thoughts, it's going to be very difficult for you, and a longer road for you to reach the goal that you want to reach. You must feel it. And it does take practice. It's not a quick fix, but hypnosis takes you to a place of putting your body into relaxation, which is the theta state of mind, the level of mind which is suggestible, which we can reprogram. But you must allow yourself to go there. And it takes practice. But once you're there, it's very easy. It takes 20 minutes. You can sit, make that the best 20 minutes of your day. Do it in the morning, because that is the time when you can start to really reorganize your brain and set off in a good state of mind. Because starting your day off with a state of mind that's positive, a resourceful state of mind, is so much better and it's going to get you through the day in a more positive state than starting your day in an unresourceful state, which is a woe is me, which is a, oh my God, I've got all this stuff to do. How am I going to get to do it? No, I'm going to see. And I got this meeting with, thinking all the negative things before the day starts is just going to add more negativity to your day. So start the day with good stuff. And yeah, if you would like to know more, there's a couple of links there. You will get a recording of this email. There'll be all sorts of things in there that you can, if you want to reply. I've got an Instagram page, so I'm having fun with doing a bit of some reels at the moment. So if you want to go and check me out doing stupid stuff with reels, that's me there. Of course, we've got a Facebook page. You can get a free 30-minute chat with me. So on that download, hypnosis download, there will be a link there for you to book in for a free call. So please take advantage of that. I'd love to talk to you and find out more about what's going on. And more than happy to give you some more personalized advice on that call as well. Couple of recommended listening and reading. If you're on Audible or if you're not on Audible, I highly recommend that you get it because there's, learning and self-development is just so important when we're on this new journey. The doorway's been opened. You're here because, you need something. And now it's a matter of finding that path that's going to work for you. And sometimes it's not just one path. It could be quite a few. But, learning through listening and reading. So Audible, there's a couple of great audio books there, Mind, Body, Nutrition by Mark David, The Blood Sugar Solution. And I think I've got his book here, Dr. Mark Hyman. This is also a really good one. The Blood Sugar Solution, 10-day detox diet. So great book if you're struggling with diabetes. Visualization for Weight Loss by John Gabriel. This is another fantastic book. Highly, highly recommend this book if you can get it. And the others are there, are listed there. So Rushing Women's Syndrome by Dr. Livy Weaver is also a great read. I think that's on Audible too. So yeah, now I've come to Q&A. Over to you, ladies. How can I help you? Do you have, I'm more than happy, there's only a few of us here, more than happy for you to just jump off mute. If you want to jump in and ask a question, let's chat. I'll unmute you if you would like. And I'm going to stop sharing now. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Oh. Any questions? Anyone at all? Don't have any questions, but thank you for the presentation. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for coming. I will be sending out a recording for everyone if you would like to listen to it. I covered a lot. Good. I'm glad. I hope I covered everything that everyone was looking for. If there's anything that I didn't cover or you'd like to discuss further, I know we have gone over time. I do apologize. I'm trying to download. No luck. Okay, Dee, I can send you a direct link if you like. I'll send you a direct link to it. Anyone else have any questions before we finish off? No, great. Thanks, Elder. Okay, good night, everyone. Yep, I'm going to say good night too. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time and energy this evening. Yeah, hope to be in touch. Hope that you can reach out and connect and we can be in touch soon. Okay, all right. See you later. Bye.